Alright, hey you guys, this is TsubakiSwagg and I'm coming to you with my review of Prison School episode 9. And this episode is so fucking funny. And it was awesome because, like, we know in last week's episode that Maiko, or Madam Vice President, ripped her undies. She ripped her thong, actually, and she's walking around exposed. Like, Kana asked her if she wanted her leggings, and she was like, no, I'll decline. I guess she couldn't bear the thought of being covered. So she's walking around with no underwear on, and she went to go check up on the boys, and the boys, of course, were plotting, trying to figure out a way to get out of the school. Because, I mean, not get out of the school, but get out of being expelled, because they only have like a week or 2 weeks before they will get kicked out of school. And they were trying to figure out a plan, blah blah blah, and they knew that DTO, like, all the papers had been destroyed, so the only other thing that they could think of, Shingo mentioned that he saw something about it on the computer. So they realized that, of course, the files had probably been deleted. So Gato, being the awesome person that he is, decided to tell them that there was a way to retrieve deleted files, which is actually true. So they had devised this plan to steal the keys from Madam Vice President and go into the room. I can't remember what the name of the room is, but it's like a committee room, and go onto the computer, bring up the files, and be able to show them that they had been set up. I mean, of course, the first time they broke out, it was on purpose, but the second and third time was completely set up. So they are going to go up through with that plan. And of course, like, at one point while they were talking, Maiko came in and she dropped her underwear out of her pocket. When she bent over to pick it up, Kiyoshi decided to, well, Kiyoshi dropped his chopsticks coincidentally, and when he went to pick them up, he saw all of that vagina just like all up in his face. I'm so jealous. But all of Maiko's vagina was in his face, and he was like, we beat the shit out of Shingo for just seeing a nipple. Imagine what they are going to do to me if they find out about this. And it was pretty hilarious. I felt like, way to go, Kiyoshi. You got your face planted in some boobs. You got to see vagina, and then later on he sees a nipple too, more than once. So it's just like, way to go, Kiyoshi. You're fucking awesome. I wish I was in your shoes. But so they devised the plan to get out of being expelled, and the thing that they came up with was to pretty much talk Vice President into an arm wrestling match, and they were going to stall for at least 10 minutes so that way Gato would be able to go into the office room and retrieve the files. So, of course, Gato went first, and they all gotten pretty buff, like, from working in prison. So it threw me off a little bit when they showed Gato with no shirt on. I was like, wait a minute, where the fuck did that come from? So Gato, of course, went first, and she fucked his arm up. Like, she is so fucking strong. It's ridiculous how strong she is. And they even showed it, like, at the beginning. She wakes up at like 6 o'clock in the morning and does exercise, which, I mean, is pretty awesome. I wish I could bring myself to wake up that early to exercise before I went to work, but that hardly ever happens. So yeah, they did the arm wrestling. Gato went first, of course, so he would be out of the way. And then he went to, he left to go to the office to retrieve the files while the other 4 tried to fight her. And after Gato was Kiyoshi, and Kiyoshi was fighting, and Kiyoshi was arm wrestling with Vice President, and she fucked him up. But he was holding his own for a little bit, but at first, like, he was holding his own, but it wasn't going too well for him. So Shingo kicked the legs out from underneath the table, and they fell. And that was when they were able to get the keys out of her pocket, because she refused to take her jacket off at first. So after that, after Gato got the keys and left, they continued to fight, and Kiyoshi went again. And that was when he saw the nipple, and he was very excited about that, and he was sad that it kept going away. So, I mean, I think it was pretty awesome that Kiyoshi got to see Maiko's nipples, and he said it was in a nipple wonderland. I was like, what the fuck? really. But anyways, so yeah, so, and you know what? I have to mention this. Guys are able to show their nipples, which they show all of their nipples in this episode, but girls can't show their nipples, and all nipples are the same. The only difference is a girl's boobs are a little bit bigger than a guy's. I honestly don't understand that concept, because a nipple is a nipple. If a girl can't show her nipples, then a guy shouldn't be able to either. So that's just my perspective on that one. But they, of course, after Kiyoshi was Shingo fucked himself up. Like, she fucked his arm up. He didn't even last like 10 seconds before she downed him. And he had gone on this whole spiel about being the arm wrestling champ, and he looked like something out of Grease or West Side Story. And that was so funny, it made me laugh. And then she just fucked him up like it was nothing. And then of course, Joe went, and Joe didn't even last 10 seconds. And she literally like threw him on the other side of the room. How are you muscular and anorexic at the same time? I don't understand. I mean, not necessarily anorexic, but how are you muscular and bony at the same time? That does not work. No, that's not a thing. So yeah. So after that, of course, it was Andre. And you know how Andre feels about Madam Vice President. And he is so enthused with her. And she was like spitting on him and shit, and he was getting off on it. Andre is pretty fucking strong, because he held his own for a very long time against Maiko. And he had one long hair hanging out of his nipple. And Maiko kept getting distracted by it. And she said it was a single tree in it was like a single something tree in a desert. I was not prepared for that. Like, she looked like she was getting off a little bit on Andre's nipple hair. So I think Maiko might have a thing for body hair. I don't know. It's a strong possibility. But she was getting off on his body hair, and they were going back and forth for a long time. It was so funny. But of course, Maiko won. So she became the strongest in the school, and Gakuto almost got caught. Like, he almost didn't make it back in time. And she was like looking for her keys, and he was like, oh, you dropped these on the floor, and gave them to her. And then of course we find out that he didn't get the information. So it looks like they are about to get expelled. But I will call bullshit if they go through all of this shit and then they still get expelled. I mean, they've gone through so much. I want them to make it. I need them to make it, because it won't be fair. It's not fair. And just the student council as a whole fucking pisses me off, that they would do all this shit just because they're guys. Chill the fuck out. All y'all just need some dick if you feel this strongly about something so small. But maybe that's just me. I don't know. So yeah, so as always, this episode was fucking awesome and sad and epic all at the same time. And I'm so looking forward to seeing next week's episode, because I know that it's going to go the fuck off. So, as always, please remember to comment, thumbs up, and subscribe. It helps me a whole lot. And this is TsubakiSwagg saying adios.